All right, today we're going on a bit of a treasure hunt. We're heading deep into Papua New Guinea's Milne Bay province. Now, this is one of the last true frontier regions left on Earth, a place of super remote islands and just incredible biodiversity. And we're going to follow the search for one of nature's absolute strangest collaborations.
So our story kicks off right here in the Solomon Sea. I mean, just look at this place. It's so remote and so jam-packed with coral reefs and tiny little islets that it's actually too dangerous for any kind of large-scale commercial fishing. This means its incredible marine resources are left almost entirely to the local population and the very few outsiders who manage to make the journey.
And yeah, getting around here is, well, it's a challenge. For most of these islands, the only way you're getting in or out is with a small 19-foot motorboat like this one. They're known locally as banana boats, and they are the absolute workhorses you need to navigate these treacherous reef-filled waters. But believe me, the difficult journey is so worth it. This whole region is just teeming with life. As you're cruising through waterways like this one on Normanby Island, you're in a world filled with dolphins, turtles, even dugongs. And on the islands themselves, you'll find some of the most spectacular birds of paradise on the entire planet.
It's honestly hard to overstate just how rich this ecosystem is. So the expedition wasn't just about finding one single plant. It was a total immersion into this vibrant, interconnected world of biodiversity. The sheer variety is just staggering. You've got massive tuna that take 2 people to haul into a boat. You've got graceful dolphins and sea cows. The water's just alive. And then on land and in the air, you have these exotic seabirds and those famous, absolutely dazzling birds of paradise. It's a total dream for anyone who loves snorkeling, diving, or just seeing nature at its most raw.
But this expedition, it had a very specific and, let's be honest, a very strange target in its sights. The team was on the hunt for a mysterious and pretty little-known group of plants. So here's the mission. Led by author and photographer Derrick Rowe, the goal was to be the first to find and properly photograph species from the genus Anthorrhiza. At the time, there were basically no photos of these plants available anywhere. And when you think about how huge the search area was, the chances of success were, well, they were incredibly slim. So what in the world is an ant plant? Well, it's an epiphyte, which just means it grows on other plants, usually trees. But here's the amazing part. Look at its base, or tuber. It's all swollen and hollowed out with these complex little chambers, essentially creating a custom-built apartment complex that it offers to an entire colony of ants. And in return, the ants give it protection and nutrients. And this is exactly what they were looking for. This species is called Anthorrhiza areolata. You can see that bizarre swollen base. That's the part that serves as the ant condominium. It looks almost alien, right? Finding one of these was the expedition's holy grail. Of course, a quest like this in a place so remote is never going to be easy. The team faced some serious hardships that really pushed their endurance to the absolute limit.
Man, the challenges just kept piling up. You had the intense tropical heat and humidity, which made hiking just exhausting. Early reports from locals about where to find the plants often turned out to be false leads. The search area was enormous. And to top it all off, a lack of rain meant that a lot of the plants they did find were all withered and stressed, making them even harder to spot.
In the end, success depended completely on the human element. The expedition had to rely on the expertise of the local crew. And they made do with really simple accommodations, like these guest bungalows. It was a total bare-bones operation, driven by a shared goal and a whole lot of resilience.
And the local knowledge was just mind-blowing. Rowe writes that his boat crew had these spectacular navigational skills. I mean, think about this. They navigated through a maze of hidden coral reefs, finding channels barely wider than their boat, all to reach islands that were way beyond the horizon, and they did it all without a compass.
So after all those dead ends and all the difficulties, that combination of sheer persistence and incredible local knowledge, it was about to pay off in a huge way. You have to wonder, right? That question was looming over the entire expedition. With so much working against them, were they actually going to find what they came all this way for? And then this. On the remote Russell Island, success. After being led by the village headman of Papua, Rowe looked up, and there it was. 2 perfect specimens of Anthorrhiza recurvaspina on the trunk of a rainforest tree. After all those false starts,
It was local wisdom that led them to the exact spot.
Let's get a closer look at the plant here. You can see that intricate root system just gripping the bark, and underneath, you can just make out the entrance holes for the ants. This is that symbiotic architecture in action, a purpose-built shelter high up in the canopy.
But the discovery? That was really just the beginning. The expedition would end up leading to a much deeper understanding of these plants and a completely unexpected story of rescue and conservation. It turns out, not all ant plants are the same. Anthorrhiza recurvis spina, the first one they found, is pretty regularly inhabited by a specific species of ant. But Anthorrhiza areola, which they found later, is rarely home to ants. Its entrance holes are bigger, which means that sometimes it contains water, cockroaches, or, get this, even small geckos. The next big discovery came from a really unexpected place. See this felled rosewood tree? It was cut down to clear land for a new food garden. And while this kind of slash and burn agriculture is a common practice, this particular tree was holding a secret. As it turned out, its branches were covered in rare epiphytes. It was a treasure trove, holding not one, but 2 different species of Anthorrhiza, plus rare orchids and ferns. Instead of just letting them die, the guides and the teams started this remarkable rescue operation, carefully removing the plants to give them a brand new home. And here's the results. This rescued Anthorrhiza areolata was carefully reattached to a living tree right in the village guest house grounds. So now it's safe and can be easily observed by future visitors and scientists. And hopefully it'll produce seeds for a whole new generation. But the conservation effort didn't even stop there. Nearby, this magnificent swamp pandanus tree was also just teeming with ant plants. At Rowe's request, the community agreed to preserve it. It now stands as a living library, a protected vertical ecosystem for future ecotourists and researchers to study and admire. You know, this entire expedition really highlights such a powerful idea. It would have failed without the scientific curiosity driving it forward, but it also would have completely failed without the deep, irreplaceable wisdom of the local guides. It really makes you wonder, how many other natural wonders are out there just waiting to be revealed by that exact same partnership?